The George Hunt's Cook collection of Canadian coins was sold by Heritage Auctions at the 2019 A&A's World's Fair of Money. The collection was built by George Cook over the span of 25 years and stood as one of the most complete collections of Canadian coins. It included some of the rarest Canadian coins of all time. Even in such an impressive collection, the present coin stands out as a singular highlight, the sole specimen of its kind available to private collectors today, with the other two coins that are known being in permanent collection at the National Money Collection at the Bank of Canada Museum in Ottawa. To draw a parallel from the coins of the US Mint, it would be not completely unfair to state that this is the 1804 dollar of Canadian coins. Presently, there are two silver examples known to exist and another specimen struck in lead. Technically, these coins are classified as patterns as no regular business strike issues were ever made. The dies themselves were prepared in London and shipped to Ottawa, as the Royal Canadian Mint was at that time still technically a branch mint of the Royal Mint. It is presumed that the three known examples were also struck in London, most likely to test the dies. The first of these were only discovered in 1960 when one of them was obtained by famed dealer BACB from the family of Sir William Grey Ellison Macartney, who just so happens to have been the mint master at the time when these coins were struck in 1911. By 1977, all three examples had come to light, and no other coins had been discovered since. Easily the most famous and desired of all Canadian coins, residing today in a PCGS slab with a grade of SP64. The coin sold here for $552,000 at auction. Any discussion of rare and exalted Canadian coins is bound to include at least one of four coins, if not all of them. One would be the coin just prior to this, and another would be the current 1936 dot cent. This coin was created as a result of the abdication of Edward VIII in December of 1936, leaving the mint without any suitable obverse dies depicting the now new king, George VI, for 1937 coins. The solution was to simply strike coins dated 1936 instead, still using the obverse dies that portrayed George V, but to place a small dot below the date to indicate to those who know that these coins were actually minted in 1937. The correct obverse dies of George VI then soon arrived, and nearly all of the 1936 dot cents were soon melted down by the mint. Today, we know of three coins that have managed to survive this purge. This one was authenticated by PCGS as SP65 red and brown, and it raised $312,000 at the auction. The next coin shares the origin story of the previous example, and much like the 1936 dot cent, the 1936 dot 10-cent coin barely managed to survive, as the coins were melted down at the mint before being released into circulation, as soon as the new obverse dies for George VI had arrived in 1937. This time though, four coins are known to exist today, with only three in private hands and the other in a museum collection. Before the Cook collection, this coin formed a part of the Dominion collection and was then graded by NGC as SP63+. $66,000 was the closing price for this rare Canadian coin. Having already discussed the Emperor of Canadian coins in the opening coin for this presentation, now let's move on to the so-called King, as this is the moniker that was bestowed on the 1921 half-dollar coin. It is estimated that around 75 or so 1921 dated Canadian 50-cent coins managed to escape the mint before a mass melting of these coins took place inside the mint. This was done due to a lack of demand for 50-cent coins in circulation during this decade in general. Rather than issue the older coins that the mint had on hand, including the 1921s. They were melted down and recoined into 1929 dated coins by the mint itself. Apparently, the mint master at that time was concerned that the public might be suspicious of the older coins suddenly entering circulation and potentially reject them as forgeries. And instead of dealing with all of this, he simply turned them into more current date coins instead. This coin was graded by PCGS as MS66 and sold for $240,000 at auction. Then, following the line of succession from there, we head on to the Prince of Canadian coins. Again, this is a silver coin from 1921, but this time it is the 5 cents turn to shine. Again, we find ourselves in a situation where the vast majority of these coins were actually melted down before ever being issued by the mint. This time, however, it was not due to a lack of demand for circulating coins, but rather as a result of a policy change at the mint itself. You see, the nickels were undergoing a change at around the time when these coins were minted. The 1922 coins were not only issued with a new design, but in fact were no longer struck in silver, rather being struck from nickel as a cost-saving measure. So, the remainder of these silver coins that the mint still had on hand from 1921 were melted down instead of being issued. Today, PCGS and NGC only report 152 coins in their combined population reports for this issue. Graded as MS65 by PCGS, the coin sold for $50,400. There are very few mysteries in numismatics that tend to stay unsolved forever. However, there are those questions to which no satisfactory answer has yet been discovered. The Canadian 1916 C Sovereign is one of these, as the original mintage of 6,111 coins seems to have completely vanished without a trace. One theory holds that the entire mintage was melted down for one purpose or another, while another theory holds that the coins were lost at sea during World War I. Neither, however, are substantiated by anything in the way of fact. What we do know is that we know of around 50 of these coins that have managed to survive to this day. Of those, this example was graded as MS66 by PCGS, placing it at the top of the population report with no finer coins known, leading to a closing price of $156,000. The Voyager dollar is a staple of Canadian numismatics, having been minted from 1935 through to 1987, and so it is fitting that this is the design that the Royal Canadian Mint chose to use for this commemorative coin, celebrating the Golden Jubilee of Queen Elizabeth II's coronation in 1953. This coin is unique. In absolute terms, it's literally the only one that was minted in gold, struck from the same dies used to make the 2003 special edition coronation silver dollars. This coin is graded as Proof 67 Deep Cameo by PCGS and sold on this occasion for $108,000. Now, apart from these ultra rarities, the selection of variety coins that was on offer from the Cook collection was truly impressive as well. One such example was a 1947 dollar coin. Now, if you're familiar with this particular coin, then you likely already know that there are more than a dozen varieties recorded. Specifically though, what we are dealing with here is the 1947 pointed 7 dot tripled HP variety, so named for the 7 of 1947 using the pointed tip style, with a very small dot placed after the date, which actually appears to have been an unintentional inclusion to the design, most likely a die bump or a small die pit. Then the obverse of this coin is also a triple die variety, best expressed on the HP just below the king's portrait. Graded by PCGS as SP64, the coin sold at auction for $6,600. Yet another $1947 variety is the maple leaf coin that added a small maple leaf just after the date. The story behind this coin is somewhat similar to that of the 1936 dot coins as well. You see, India was granted independence from the British Empire in late 1947. At that time, the Royal Canadian Mint was readying itself to start striking the 1948 coins. The problem was that the obverse dice still declared the king as the Emperor of India. So, while the mint was waiting for the correctly styled obverse dies to arrive, they started minting coins with the now outmoded obverse titles, but used the reverse dice from 1947 and simply added a small maple leaf after the date to denote that these coins were actually struck in 1948. This example was graded by PCGS as SP65 and attained $3,360 at auction. There's more, and I can easily make an entire video just about the cool variety coins on their own, but for now, let me know what you thought of these coins in the comment section below. Subscribe to WNN and make sure that you have the bell icon selected to be notified when new videos are released. For the World Numismatic News, I am Numisman saying thank you for watching, keep collecting, and have a great day.